Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and NBs of all ages. My name is Brian Maxwell, and this is my voice. Well, I'm Brian, and this is my voice. And this week, I was thinking about being funny. Specifically, there was a time I tried stand-up comedy. And anyone who knows me will realise that's probably the most normal thing I could actually do. But at the time, I hadn't really fully embraced my authentic self. And I did a show that is available on this YouTube page. I will link it in the description. And I worked with a gentleman by the name of Dara de Butler. He was one of my former managers when I worked in Carol's Irish Gifts. Best for quality, best for value. And he's a very good comedian himself. And he was running a workshop called White Collar Comedy. And there was a couple of weeks where we got together. And there's people who were interested in it. It was some people from Carol's and some people from Dublin Bus. And we got together and we were talking about comedy. And Dara kind of knew us all personally. And he was like, I think you'd be good at this. I think you'd be good at this, this and this. And then bring me some ideas. And we workshopped them for about 6 weeks. And then we did a gig in the church, the restaurant down the end of Henry Street. And it was like 200 or 300 people in attendance. And I did 11 minutes, I think I was only supposed to do 6. But no one cut me off or told me to stop. So I just kept going. And then I tried loads of part sickness, part hilarity. Great way to die, laughing. So then I tried loads of open mics. And I just couldn't allow myself to just be myself. And I learned a lot. Crowds are a great measurement of good comedy. That's really it. You're doing stand-up comedy. People need to be entertained. And at the very least, need to laugh. And depending on what you laugh at, that's entirely personal. Like podcasts, like music, any type of art, and anything in terms of entertainment. Just take a look at anyone's YouTube feed or Netflix recommendations. Everyone is vastly different. And whom I enjoy isn't necessarily the type of comedy I would do. No spoilers. You can look at the video and either comment there or pop on back here for another cheeky view for me and let me know what you thought about it. But I didn't like the idea of being so kind of pop, to use a musical term. I wanted to be edgy, smart, quick-witted, sharp. Though I may be all of those things. A crowd never really embraced anything I ever said while I was trying to be edgy and sharp and quick-witted. And I haven't gone back to it. Nor do I have the time, really. This is about as close as one can get to me actually having a regular entertainment position, job, or vocation. Although, I do have secrets that I'm working on. All to be announced if successful. And if unsuccessful, well then, there's another video in it, isn't there? I'd be fascinated to know what your favourite comedian is. I've had great chats with Jonathan on the Nerds Are Us channel about stand-up comedy. And I'm kind of rehashing that. I find it fascinating what people laugh at. Like, I really love story comedians. I like a scenario. I like a placement. I like to be there with them while something is happening to or around them. And the first comedian I ever really remember watching, well, I wasn't really watching, I was only listening to him because I was still being baked in mother's oven. My ma was pregnant and went to see Billy Connolly. So he was my first comedian. And he was actually one of the first comedians I fully watched. Just the idea of being able to tell a story. And here's the dirty secret. All comedy, all stand-up is setup and punchline. And how you deliver that, so many varying degrees. Observational, story, standard, like meat and two veg, setup and punchline. And then how you derive that comedy is entirely up to you. Your background, your proficiency, and even your love. And I watched a lot of like English, Irish, Scottish, Welsh comedians. 'Cause that's where I'm from. And it was because of the Comedy Central channel that I saw Jongleurs Unleashed, where I got shown so many more different types of comedy and comedians. Corgi and the Juice Pigs was the main one that has stuck with me. I am the only gay Eskimo. And like from bizarre, even quirky musical comedy, Stephen Lynch, Bo Burnham, and then into like these like absolute modern satirists and almost philosophers in terms of Bill Hicks and George Carlin. Not to miss Richard Pryor, but he was never really my thing. And then into the 90s then, like Chris Rock just took over the fucking world. And very specific reference that we've said a lot. Probably shouldn't have. We made reference to how the wheels would be spinning. And they were spinning. They were spinning. I had no idea the level of pointed modern day observations Chris was making. He just sounded funny and talked good. And that's all I really needed. Because I didn't know the amount of work and effort and craft goes into comedy. It's kind of strange for a 12-year-old to be watching stand-up comedy, think it's real, and then really kind of only associate natural day-to-day communication in the same style that you would deliver a joke. Because I am quite funny looking. I can't imagine what it would be like for anyone not to enjoy laughter and having fun and being silly, though not necessarily a core component of stand-up specifically, which is rhetoric. It's talking. It's what I'm doing now is is rhetoric. This is a personal project of mine that I want to connect with people and share things I love. I'm not aiming to be funny. I'm not aiming even necessarily to be entertaining. I'm aiming to be comforting to you. That's what this is. And I would be interested if people would be interested in seeing different genres of this kind of thing. Because I do love comedy And I love modern day. I love like actual day-to-day modern equivalent of just talking about top specific modern phenomena, whether it be news articles or things that have happened. By all means, I will take suggestions. And the idea of the poetic. Because as much as I'm funny, my actual first ever foray into creativity was poetry. And I will happily discuss that at length at another time when I have had time to write some poems to recite to you. And I will happily take suggestions of what you would like me to write about. They don't necessarily need to be funny or serious, but it is something that I would like to share with you, if you would be so kind. But the idea of comedy as its actual original term, the definition of comedy and drama, comedy and tragedy. And I always lean towards comedy because life is tragic enough. Imagine someone actually typing a comment to this very video going, I don't like comedy. Laughter is bad. Fun is bad. And I actually understand that. I understand that there are times to be serious. I wish there weren't. There are times when I'm not actively having a laugh. Even that specific expression, it could be alien to someone. It's just a way of being. To have a laugh. Even in terms of the way Hiberno English, Irish English, the way we talk is framed by and informed by the Irish language. To say you're hungry is to say tá ochras orm. I have hunger upon me. It is something that you have. It's a state of having. So the idea of having a laugh, it's not just to take a laugh like Ursula in The Little Mermaid and put it in a jar and save it for later. It is a state of being. It's something that if I didn't have, I wouldn't have it. But I do. All the time. And I find myself, or at least I used to find myself, trying not to have a laugh. It was an active process that I was stopping all the time. And then I wondered why I was depressed. I'm always going to shoot for the joke. I laugh and giggle at funerals. It is my natural response. Is it healthy? I was told by a counsellor it's fine, as long as you're not hurting someone else. And I'm not a Pokemon. I cannot harm you with laughter. Even so much that I preferred the Joker to Batman. From the 90s animation. Fucking art. Pure fucking art. But I liked the Joker because he was a complete different antithesis to Betsy. He was the clown prince of crime. And he was always up for a laugh. Where Batman was serious and stoic. I am vengeance. I am the night. I am boring. Wonderfully acted. The real Batman is from the 90s. There is no way I will hear any other argument. Kevin Conroy? Yeah. I'm terrible with names. I'm on the spot. He's the best. And even though I adore him, there's nobody better than Mr. J. Mark Hamill, Luke Skywalker, is the Joker. And as much as I really liked Heath Ledger's tonguey performance, wait till I get a load of me. He's brilliant. But there's just something about the way Mark Hamill was able to elicit such fun and joy, and also being really scary. Maybe it was just the purple. I like the colours, as is evident by my surroundings. that giggle, that it's not because I think we live in a society, as was evident after the Joaquin Phoenix, the great Joker as well. I do think Jared Leto got done dirty. I'm sorry. He did. He could have been good if he wasn't a raging fucking lunatic himself. You're not supposed to be the Joker, lad. You're just supposed to play as him. Jack Nicholson was grand. Wait till I get a load of me. Just not my thing. Bit too serious, I imagine. And even so, as comedy goes, I like serious enough comedy. I like Carlin and I like Hicks and I like people who can just hold the room. People don't really have a choice of what kind of comedy they can do. I wouldn't run towards a Michael McIntyre gig, but I adored Lee Evans. Just, you can't help what you like. I'd wonder, especially given how things are in terms of everything now is, as I call it, narrow casted. Whereas everything used to be broadcasted. You would have to watch television at a certain time and everyone else was doing the same thing. And everyone got it en masse at the same time. And there was, as much as you could determine, a singular cultural zeitgeist or connective psyche. We were all psychically bonded by Gladiators, Pokemon, Coronation Street. I think the closest thing now is, at least I know of, I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. My wife watches it every year, and she watches it as it happens. And I know that there are shows that do come out, but every year, like, I'll watch it after. Like, I'm watching the new Has Been Hotel, available on Amazon Prime. Give me money. Give me money. I'll sponsor your stuff. And one of my friends was like, I'm going to wait till it's finished and I can just watch it back to back. That would be infuriating. Is someone doing that to my videos? Are you waiting for me to finish the series? I'm never going to stop. Maybe if I get to 100. Swear to fuck. If one of you is doing that. 5 years' time, someone will just go, I finished the videos, Brian, they were great. I'll be off hand gliding, shooting guns somewhere, being a major action movie star. The worst action hero. Me. I find it really difficult to write jokes. I would love to make money in entertainment, but such is the world and my personal responsibilities. This is the best you're getting out of me for now. So if you would like me to actually prepare things and try other genres of talking at you, I will happily do so. I am committed to showing all strings to my bow, whether it be voice acting, characters, writing, poetry or stories, or stand-up comedy, or if there's anything else. Note that most of my talent goes from the neck up. Can't imagine I'm going to be running any races or wrestling in any matches anytime soon. But if you keep it from the neck up, I'm sure we can enjoy each other's company. Thank you so much for listening. Mind yourself, and I'll talk to you soon.